I thought the main event was okay. I feel like Shinsuke hit him with everything besides the bazooka. Rollins still made it through it, retained here. It was still good, but I don't know. I feel like they go with like strong in defeat, but if anything, I just feel like he hit him with everything. Like hit him with the mist, hit him with the Kinshasa, hit him through the lat. Like he threw him. I'm pretty sure he fell through a table after he got misted. Still got up. I don't know. It was a lot. I'm glad Rollins won here. Didn't want Shinsuke to win, but felt like it was a little bit much. But it was a good way to end the show. But all in all, I thought it was a solid beat pay-per-view. Like I said, not too many matches, so it wasn't like I was sitting through like 15 matches. So I thought it was a solid show.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a good show. I enjoyed the 3 hours. I was surprised they only went with 5 matches. I was fully expecting a segment of some sort, like we had the Grayson Waller effect at Payback last month, or a Jade Cargill segment. She showed up as well, which was a nice surprise. Not in the arena. I mean, she showed up to the arena via WWE.com video, and that was it. I thought we might see her at ringside, or she would come out for a promo. Nothing. That was it. That was the extent.
She was on the pregame. They showed her on the pre-show.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they showed it on the pre-show, and then they replayed it on the main show, and that was it. So I thought there was more to it. That was just the extent of the appearance, and that's fine. They want to tease you that she's there. Same thing that we saw in NXT, which I think is cool, and we'll talk about that at some point as well. So a lot of questions coming out of the show as far as each of these matches here. As far as the main event goes, I'll work my way down from the top of the card. Starting with the Last Man Standing match. I enjoyed this match. I thought they had a really good match. Last Man Standing matches are very hit or miss, because I feel like a lot of these matches can be very fucking boring, and there were definitely portions of this match that were not the most thrilling, admittedly, but I thought they worked well together. I've enjoyed the Shinsuke push. I actually saw more people than I thought that were upset that Shinsuke lost, and I don't know if it had to do with Shinsuke losing or Rollins winning. I mean, it was the outcome we expected. Would I have been happy with Rollins winning? Yes. Did I expect a cash-in afterwards? I did. And that did not happen. I only expected a cash-in because Damian Priest and Balor lost in the opener when we weren't expecting that. And we'll get to that momentarily. I wasn't like, oh man, we should have had. I was so pissed that we didn't get a cash-in. It doesn't really matter. We could still get that at some point. Hopefully it's successful. We'll save that for another time. But with Rollins and Nakamura, what your thoughts on the outcome? I know you're not the biggest Shinsuke guy. I've really loved his heel work lately. I'm not going to sit here and tell you advocating that he should have won this match. But I feel like we were in the same spot at SummerSlam with people really hoping that Balor would beat Rollins, and he didn't. Again, I don't think it's a Rollins issue. I don't think there's any real issue with his run. He's had great matches with Balor, Priest, Braun Breaker in NXT, now Nakamura. He's had a pretty good run overall. Maybe people just wanted something new. Because this was it for Nakamura. If he wasn't winning here, he was never going to win the championship. I mean, you could say the same thing 5 years ago. And the other Last Man Standing match he had for the WWE title when we were there, Money in the Bank 2018, against Styles, and he lost that too. Your thoughts on the outcome as far as, do you think this would have been a nice time to pull the trigger on a Nakamura surprise win, even if Rollins got it right back soon after? Or were you happy that Rollins retained and we can now just move on?
I was happy Rollins retained. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Shinsuke's heel run right now. I think it's it's good for if you need a heel, but just Shinsuke in it, I don't know. I just don't really love him in that role. I just haven't really been a fan of it. I think it's more the fact that, I love Rollins. The character, just to me, I just can't. I hate it. I literally hate the character, and it's the same thing he was doing before, but now he's a face, and he's still doing, the same, the goofy outfits and the bad laugh, and it's just, I think it's a character. For me specifically, it's I'm not mad that Rollins won because I didn't want Shinsuke to win. Mm-hmm. But, if Damian Priest cashed in, I wouldn't have, lost my mind. For me, for Rollins, it's just the character itself needs, to go, or it needs to be tweaked. The whole, goofy, the freaking Rollins stuff needs to be moved. It's just not good to me. The outfits are brutally bad. The laugh is even worse. It's are we supposed to cheer him? He's still doing the same things he was doing as a heel, as a face. I think that's why people are not to say upset, but we're kind of, like you said, I'm not sure if they're upset that Shinsuke lost or Rollins won here, but I just think his character work needs to be tweaked because the whole freaking Rollins for me lost its loss, especially when he went babyface.
Do you think it's an issue of him just being the champion in the sense that one of those Twitter accounts that just post opinions and it gets like a million retweets and stuff and likes and whatever? I mean, they posted a pretty good point after the pay-per-view. Whenever Rollins is not champion, people are advocating him to be the world champion. He had not been world champion for 4 years before he became world heavyweight champion back in May. He last held the Universal Championship in the fall of 2019 during that dreaded Bray Wyatt feud, obviously. And he finally got the gold back earlier this year. And then when he is champion, like we saw in 2019 and at other points in his career, maybe not necessarily in 2015, I don't really remember much backlash at that point. Then again, he was a heel at the time, so it was a bit more, tolerable, I guess. But the comment was that when Rollins is not champion, people want him to be champion, and when he is champion, people do not want him to be champion. Do you think that's an issue with the booking of Rollins, or just, again, is it the character as far as, like... I'll answer my own question first and then throw it to you. I don't think that he needs to be in chase mode constantly. Because, again, there's something to be said with certain characters being in chase mode. Certain people are just better chasing than they are as champion. I don't think Rollins is one of those guys. I do agree with you where I feel like he can be a great, and he has been a great champion. I feel like he could be better if the character work was better. Because the whole freaking Rollins thing, the outrageous outfits, I know it's unique to him, and he's probably having fun with it and whatnot. But it also feels like, not he himself, not to take a shot at Rollins specifically, but it feels like the character is WWE resting on its laurels, knowing the theme song is over, and then just going off of that and then honing it all in, or kind of phoning the rest of it in, if that makes sense.
No, I completely agree. Like, they're still doing, like, before the match, like, the whole, like, whoa thing, and they turn the lights off, and he sits there and, like, acknowledges it. That was literally tired maybe 6 months ago. Like I said, I think he perfect. I like how you worded it, because I think he is one of those better people as champions instead of being a chaser. But I just also people want to see him lose, and maybe it's just the booking. I don't know. Like you said, like people are interested in like this new heel run for Shin. I feel like Finn, the story was there that like he had lost the belt to Rollins at that SummerSlam because he got hurt. Had like a good, like, he's going to win the belt. Basically did the same thing Shin did, like hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, couldn't win. But yeah, I agree. I don't think it's Rollins specifically, but fans are just fickle. You could put the belt on Cody tomorrow and they'd want him to lose it immediately. So,
no, definitely.
I don't think it's a Rollins per se issue, because I think anyone wants every time anyone that wins a championship that the fans are fighting for, you'll see in 2 or 3 months, like, I got to take the belt off them. So I don't think it's him specifically. But I think the character work, like you said, I think they're resting on, hey, the music's over, the stupid woeing's over, so we're just going to keep the belt on Rollins for now. He's not going to change his character, which, like I said, makes no sense because he's a heel. So why are we supposed to cheer for him when he's still doing, like, the maniacal laugh, the dumb outfits? I think they're just, like, happy with, like, him getting a reaction. Like, I guess you can just say he's always getting a reaction because everyone likes to do with the woeing. But for me specifically, that was kind of over 6 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to the night after WrestleMania when they did that dumb segment where he came out, played to the crowd, and that was it. I know he had said in other interviews since then that wasn't the original plan and shit changed or whatever. But it was still pretty dumb. He just came. I was there. I mean, it was the stupidest thing. He walks away and we're like, what the fuck just happened? And I feel like we see a lot of that from week to week. Not that exact same segment, but in terms of he comes out, he panders to the crowd. For every match and segment that he does, the crowd sings for 5 minutes. Hey, listen, it saves me time when I'm speed searching through Fast Forward and whatever on DVR. I will give him that. It saves me time on that front. I don't miss any of his promo. I just miss the whole crowd chanting thing because it's just fucking annoying. And I like the song too, but it's just one of those things where there's no evolution there, and it's ironic with him because I feel like Rollins, specifically, more than almost anyone else in this company's history, or at least recent history, I'm sorry, not ever, but lately, maybe in addition to Roman Reigns, has one of the best character arcs from his Shield days to being on his own, being a heel, becoming a face organically, turning heel organically 4 years ago, now becoming a babyface again, being popular and over in that role. People aren't booing him now like they were 4 years ago. That's the difference. He's really over right now. But I just feel like the character itself could be so much more interesting. I guess my issue is that no matter what happens, Nakamura threatens to, like, jeopardize him holding his child. But he comes out all smiles and laughing and doing the song thing. It's the same thing every single week. And if he shows any signs of any intensity or getting serious, it's right back to being the same thing a week later. That's what I don't like about it. And that's what I would wish they would kind of adjust with his character, and hopefully they can improve upon that. I'm not expecting it, though, because we've seen the same thing from him for 6 months now. I don't think it's a case where he needs to lose the championship, just to put that out there. I was hoping for a cash-in, but they might be waiting for a different time, and it might be a long-term story they're telling with Priest, or they just have no fucking clue, but it did not happen on this show.